What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Tracy, and as promised, we're back with another video. It is kind of a riding video per se. We're going to be going over the pros and the cons of this here Stark Varg. As you can see, we got our front flat, so that's why we're not riding it today. So that's why we're going to be going over the pros and the cons of it. As you can also see, still got the old dyno powered fossil fuel 450 right here. Never gonna be getting rid of the dyno fuel dirt bikes. You know, they just sound too good. But yeah, I've been riding. So actually, about 8 or 9 months ago, I had posted a video of me getting a hole shot on the Stark Varg. Different one than this one. It was one of the white ones. And at the time, so I've been riding the Starks for a little while now. Actually, it's not just like I just bought this one and now I'm making the video just to make the video. I've actually gotten to put some time on the Starks. They're wicked dirt bikes, and that's why I do feel like I can give my 2 cents. Being I do still ride both, and I'm a pretty decent rider. Took my own one there. So let's get right into it. Let's pop a jarrito, and get right into this thing. Nice. One of the first, we're gonna go over the pros first, of course, because that's how you do it. So one of the first pros is it's silent. It is a completely silent dirt bike, for the most part. Yeah, it makes some battery noise and whatnot like that, some spinning up noise and things like that, some wheel noise. It makes noise, but as for the most part, it's completely silent. So and it's electric, so you know, it goes hand in hand, blah blah blah. Of course it's electric. But what I mean by that is technically it's an electric scooter by classification. Yes, it is a dirt bike, but it's really an electric scooter, and if you're over 18 years old, you don't need a driver's license or anything to ride this thing around town. So you can ride it on sidewalks, you can go to a skate park, you can go to all kinds of things with it, and technically you're legal. So that's honestly one of the really cool things about it. Another pro, there's a couple of them here. There's no gears, no maintenance, no clutch. So what I mean by all that, you don't have to worry about shifting. I know so it's not something that goes through my mind all the time, but there's definitely been times going through a corner right before a big jump or something where coming out of the corner, you'll go to shift and you'll miss your gear. You'll half shift. And I don't shift going up the face of a jump. I shift, so it's say I need to hit this jump in fourth, I go through the corner, I click third, fourth, coming out of it, and I don't shift in the face of the jump. So I myself don't really run the risk of hitting false neutral in the face of a jump, but there's absolutely zero risk of hitting false neutral in the face of a jump on this here Stark Varg. That's just, it's insane how little things like that honestly free up a ton of mental capacity while you're riding. There's just less that you have to worry about when you're riding. It's different. Again, it's silent, so it's a little different, but it's not bad. So yeah, no clutch, no gears, no nothing like that. No maintenance. So yeah, you don't have to worry about feathering a clutch or popping the clutch or anything like that. You don't have to worry about clutch baskets, clutch fibers, clutch steels. You don't have to worry about changing a clutch. There's absolutely no maintenance besides changing gear oil every 50 hours, flat tire, and keeping your oil, your chain lube. So there's that. Another really cool thing, the ease of buying it, and it comes with everything you need. Don't get me wrong, it's not hard to go out to a motorcycle shop and buy a dirt bike. But literally you can sit down at your computer one afternoon, buy this thing, and they'll ship it to your door. Like it'll be on your doorstep the next day. With everything you need. Like I said, it comes, well not like I said, but it comes with, in a box, literally in a box, with a toolkit to build that entire bike. So, it is a pretty badass toolkit that they give you. That being said though, if you think you're gonna spend $15,000 just for a toolkit, don't, because you can go to Harbor Freight and buy their entire store for $15,000. So like, if you're trying to get a torque wrench or something out of the deal, like if that's your main goal, don't get a Stark. Go to Harbor Freight and get a torque wrench. But yeah, it comes with a toolkit to build this entire bike. Like even if you have zero tools, like if you have absolutely zero tools and you buy this dirt bike, you will be able to maintain it with what's in that kit right there. So that's one of the like really cool things about it. You know, I like the toolkit. Like again, I like the toolkit. I have a bunch of my own tools, but that toolkit was pretty cool. Like it's definitely a pro. One of probably the biggest pro. I know that I said the silent part of it is the biggest pro, but also we'll get into that in a second. The biggest pro is it's 80 horsepower, dude. Like it is ridiculously fast. It's ran off of a phone. Literally, that's your dirt bike right there. Again, that's your dirt bike, but this is what like controls your dirt bike. It's a cell phone, you can swipe it, you can change it from 80 horsepower. As you can see, there's different modes on it. You got mode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, you can change the horsepower on it from 80 to 70 to 60, 50, and 40. That's what I have mine set as 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. You know, just 10 horsepower increments, and it charges right here as well. So again, that's just, it's really, it's user-friendly. The phone is a little weird. It's an Android, but again, everybody knows how to run a phone. If you know how to run a phone, you can run that bike. So yeah, that's a bunch of the pros for it. It's a wicked bike. I love it. I'm not mad that I got it. So yeah. Now, getting into the cons of things. Like I said, it's silent. It may be one of its biggest pros. It's also one of its biggest cons. Who doesn't love the sound of a 450, 250, 252 stroke, especially? Who doesn't love that? We'll act like that didn't happen. But like I was saying, 450, 250, 252 stroke. Who doesn't love the sound of? Doesn't love that sound? Who does not love the sound of a dirt bike? Like, dirt bikes are freaking awesome, dude. You can't not love them. And the sound of it, like I said, especially 252 stroke. So that's actually one of the biggest cons of it, is that it's silent. Now, the way it comes like configured when you get online to purchase it, it comes configured with a handbrake, like a rear handbrake. It doesn't come configured stock with the foot brake. You have to pay an extra $250 for the foot brake. I think it's either $250 or $150. But you have to pay more for the foot brake, which kind of like, that doesn't make really any sense to me at all. I get that we have a clutch up here, but that, again, we have a clutch up here. The clutch is right there. The rear brake, like, it doesn't matter if you're looking at that 110 right there, that 50 that's over there that y'all can barely see, this 450 right here. You can go down to Pep Boys and look at one of their like Calhoun Zekis that is not even a real dirt bike. Every single one of them has a rear foot brake. So the fact that it comes configured with a handbrake and you have to spend an extra $250 to get the foot brake, that is a huge con. Like, it almost made me not purchase the bike. Like, I had the extra money at the end of the year to purchase the dirt bike, and I did. But when I realized that it actually cost me more to buy the foot brake version of it, it kind of made me mad. And the fact that they don't give you the handbrake that they have to take off, that like, that whole the handbrake foot brake thing is actually a really, like, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. Another one of the cons, so I do have I have the V2. So what is really different between the V1 and the V2, I'm not entirely sure. I know that the charging port's in a different area on the V2 versus the V1. So that I know is different, but the battery life on V1 versus V2, the battery life is kind of poop. You know, you're gonna get a good hour's worth out of it. And I know you're saying, like, who's gonna ride an hour long straight? Some trail dudes. Some, like, if I ever went out to the dunes or anything, which I am gonna take this thing out to the dunes, I'm gonna have to be super mindful about where I'm at in the dunes versus my battery life. I can't be too far out because I'm gonna have to get back on battery life, and it's not extremely good. Now, that is something that the owner, like the dude at Stark, has talked about, is that, like, you know, we know our battery life isn't a 7-hour battery or something like that. He talked about the Honda battery, like when Trey Kennard went over to Japan and raced the electric Honda, he pointed out that their battery was smaller than, the Honda battery was smaller than theirs, so it probably was even less time. So they get, like, yeah, the battery life isn't tremendous. You're not gonna get 4 or 5 hours out of it unless you're riding it on like 10 horsepower, just putting around the house. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't done that. But yeah, the battery life isn't like super high. So you're kind of limited on your range, at least. Like, say if you're gonna go trail riding or out in the dunes. If you're gonna go ride moto, you're probably not gonna pound a 1 hour long moto on the moto track unless you're Ricky Carmichael. And yeah, so like the battery life is a con, but there's still ways around it. So it's not a completely like, don't buy this bike because it has an hour long battery life. Like, I doubt you're gonna go ride for an hour straight. The last really two that I'm gonna point out here for cons, and again, there's not a ton of them. I know I'm like talking like there is, but there's not. There's not a lot of aftermarket support on them. So like, there's not like, I don't know of anyone who's making like a Chirby's. I can go buy a blue plastic kit, or like a teal plastic kit. I can buy a gray plastic kit. I can buy all kinds of different colored plastic kits, different colored seats, different color, like different little bolt-on knickknacks here and there, like all kinds of different things that I can get for this thing. Triple clamps, bar mount, like literally, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to, I could get a completely different subframe for this bike right here and get different radiators. There's tons of aftermarket support on these bikes where there's like none on these guys. I have not found a ton online aftermarket for these guys. So yeah, if you say I don't know, if you break a clutch lever or a brake lever on it, like I'm not entirely sure what kind of brake lever it is. I know it's a Brembo. I know it runs a Brembo brake caliper, so it may be the same one as a KTM. It may not be the same one as a KTM. I don't know. That's just something that's a bridge I'll have to cross when I get there. And then the last con for it is it's actually kind of heavy. Yeah, I actually think it weighs maybe 10 or 15 pounds more than my Honda 450. And it's not that you can exactly feel that when you're riding. Like when you're riding, you can't really feel that extra 10, 15 pounds. You can go quote me, go Google it real fast, but I think that these things are like 10 or 15 pounds more than our dyno dirt our dyno power counterparts over here. So yeah, it's a little bit heavy. Again, it's not something that you're gonna feel a lot while you're out on the track, but when you like when you get off the track and you're tired and shit, and you're like, I've got to lift this thing on a stand now. You can feel that 10 or 15 pounds. The stand that it comes with is super cool, so I'll throw that in there as a bulletin point, as a little extra. And then one other thing, this isn't a con, this isn't a pro, it's one of those things that kind of falls in the middle of that little diagram deal that you got taught in school. The gyro on this bike, the way that it the way it moves and the gyro and whatnot is absolutely unique to itself. It's insane and unique to itself. So one place that I feel it a ton is when I'm rolling around the pits and whatnot. When I'm going real slow, I can keep the bike like straight up and down, and I know you're like, well, the bike's straight up and down. Even when I'm in the pits and whatnot, riding this thing, going through a corner, like if I'm turning around my truck or something, or someone else's pit or like something like that, you have a tendency to kind of like dab your foot and lean the bike over or something. Where on this bike, it just feels so different going through corners and stuff. Like at least slow. When you're going fast and you dive into a corner, feels the exact same. When you're going slow and like using the handlebars to turn, it just feels so much different. There is such a different feel to it. In the air, when you like jump and you drop your front tire, if you crack the throttle open on that thing, it raises the front tire so fast. Like, I've said this with some of my friends. I've said this with like some people that have asked me about the bike since I got it. And I think Twitch has said this on, I forget, it might have been his podcast that he was talking to someone on it about, but I truly believe that in a year or two, somebody who does FMX is going to get on one of these and late flip it. So what I mean is they're gonna come off of like the 75 footer, they're gonna hit it, they're not gonna pull back to do a backflip. They're gonna hit it and say they're gonna do a heel click or something. And then they're gonna drop their feet back to the bike, and when they drop their feet back to the bike and like connect it, they're gonna crack the throttle and throw their head back and late flip on the way down. 100% believe that is doable on this thing because of just how much gyro that thing has. It's insane. It is insane the manipulation you can do with the throttle and stuff on that bike. It's a completely unique bike. It's completely unique to itself. They're wicked. Again, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't ever buy one but yeah, I would recommend these Stark. If you were looking for a new dirt bike and you didn't know what to choose, go with Stark. Like, actually, and especially if you're just gonna be a weekend warrior. Like, if you're just a weekend warrior, if you're just looking to have fun, like have a fun dirt bike that you can just pull out whenever, dude, go with the Stark. I know, like I said, they'll ship it to your doorstep. They'll literally ship it to your door. I was at work and this thing showed up at my work. That's where I had it shipped to. Yeah. So, that being said, get a Stark. Get a dirt bike. That being said, get a dirt bike. Doesn't matter if it's a Stark, doesn't matter if it's a Honda, doesn't matter if it's a 110, just get a dirt bike. Get out there, have fun, and we will see you guys in the next episode, the next video. I did get my computer back, so, I already got everything downloaded and everything for that, so look for some videos on that. But yeah, we will see you guys in the next one.
Brah.